Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday morning, guys. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Monday morning, guys. Guys, really quickly, this is not my traditional topics, but I want to speak on something that has been going on for quite some time. And for the most part, I've been quiet about it, but I don't know. I saw a comment just now, and it's so annoying. It's so annoying how people are not some people are not even realizing that this agenda where black men and black women are attacking each other and they're now against each other, this has been pushed, and people are really thinking that it just automatically popped up because of Kevin Samuels, or even some of the individuals who are, having some of the same conversations as he did. It is, sorry, I dropped my pen. There's almost like people are really thinking that this just started just because one man started a topic. It's deeper than that. This narrative is being pushed. Why did his videos go viral? Right? It's being pushed. And a lot of people are just really thinking that all of a sudden, black men and black women have woke up and now they really see that each other are such and such, and just all of a sudden, this is not anything new. This has been going on. This agenda has been literally pushed. It's an agenda to separate the black race, and people are not even grasping it from that point. But my deep thinkers, my quote unquote woke individuals, are tapped in. Now, let's be real here. Both sides have legitimate arguments, right? There is no question about that, at least not in my opinion. Each side have legitimate arguments. That's not even the question. I want to start with black men, then I'm going to transfer over to black women. And no one, please get offended, because this is this is truly all my opinion. Nothing is factual. You guys know I am non-biased, so I'm not going to side with women attacking men. I'm just not that girl. I'm just not that girl. I see it from both points of views, and men have legitimate arguments as well. I want to start with black men. Black men, I want to say to you guys really quickly, right? And again, this is not all, right? There's a quote unquote, there's exception to the rules. You've been through hell and back, right? Many of you have not experienced that nurturing side of a mother. Most have, but there are some men out here who have been through hell in childhood, and their own mother afflicted those wounds upon them for different reasons. The mother may have been unhealed, traumatized. Maybe the mother didn't like his father for whatever reason, right? She emasculated him, called him all out his name. So every man does not have that nurturing side or know that nurturing side of a mother. So it's almost like this group of individuals want to always say things like, well, you must hate your mom because your mom was black. Well, maybe he do. He may love her but hate her behavior. But it's almost like people are clueless that everyone doesn't have that experience of having the nurturing side of a mother. So black men, I know you've been through a lot. Some of you have had to deal with toxic moms. Some of you have had to deal with fathers who were not in your life. In fact, some of you have watched the man who is your father raise other children but abandon you. And you took that personal, and I get it. But I also want to say too that hurt people hurt people. And sometimes as an adult, if you go back, if you let your pride down, right? And you go back and you have a conversation with your father, you will learn a lot of things. For one, you will learn that a lot of the things that your mom have been pushing in your head as a child is not true. right? You also learn that there are a lot of hidden secrets as well as generational curses that your father experienced in his life. And back in those days, those older folks, they don't speak about things like that, right? They're just taught to cover it up and just get over it. So the behavior of your father being drawn from your life, or just not knowing how to father you properly, there's a good chance he didn't have a great father. Now, granted, on the flip side, you have individuals who didn't have a father, but they became great fathers, because it's almost like, well, I didn't have a father, so I'm going to be sure I'm the best father in the world. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But that's not everyone's experience. We all think different. We all go through different things. So it made one person a better father, but then the other is struggling because he don't know how to be a father. He don't even know where to start. All he knows are things that his mom taught him. And contrary to most belief, a woman cannot raise a man to be a man. We've always heard that. We've always heard that. But it's not true. A woman can love on, she can do the best she can, but teaching him the qualities of manhood, being a great mom, is not equivalent to teaching her son to be a man. Even though we were always taught that. Next, men, in addition to the hurts of maybe having toxic moms, as well as fathers who were not in your life, those uncles, those older cousins who raised you, they pressed upon you the importance of having multiple women, right? The more women you got, the more manly you are. Or the earlier that you break your virginity, then the more manly you are, right? All that stuff. Not even realizing that's traumatizing for a little boy. A little boy. So they push this narrative about having all these women, right? It is what it is. You may still believe in that. It is what it is. But what they didn't teach you is that one day you would fall in love with one of those women. And she's going to be that woman who does not tolerate the foolishness. So she's going to leave you. But they didn't prepare you for that heartbreak. They didn't prepare you for that heartbreak. So now you have 15 women, but the one you really, really loved had enough of your stuff. She left. And now your heart is broken. So now you are out here in the world today, coming from a toxic mom, the abandonment issues of your father, now a broken heart. So you assume all women are the same. Those were the women that you had encounters with. Your uncles and your cousins and whoever, they didn't prepare you for that heartbreak and how to deal with it. In fact, they never even introduced, and some of those same men experienced the heartbreak. But they don't know how to express that to you, so what do? They drink it away. That's why they're under the tree sitting there drinking all day. Unaddressed trauma, unaddressed emotions. Some of those same men are sitting there with wounds 30 years later from that one woman that hurt them. And rather than they try to help you understand that there's going to be one, and when you find her, really start to try to work on yourself. Truth of the matter is, sometimes they didn't even know. But you know. So are you going to follow in their footsteps? Or are you going to break that generational cycle? If you choose to follow in their footsteps, that's absolutely fine. Truly. Do what you do. But you got to stop labeling all Black women as a certain way because the ones you've encountered hurt you. There are Black women, and I am in that category, who have hearts of gold, whose spirits are pure. It's not common. It's not common, but what happens when you meet those ones? Those are the ones who get dragged. We understand that men are visual. I say it 1,000 times per day. Most men are visual. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess, right? I'm not a man, so whatever. There's nothing wrong with being visual, but be sure her spirit matches. So because men are visual, it's almost like some, not all, because some men are very, very disciplined in this area. Just because you see a beautiful woman, you automatically want to make this woman your everything, and you haven't even tested her spirit yet. And now you have a history of beautiful women who are constantly hurting you, in addition to the toxic mom, and now every woman is trash. I rebuke you, sir. I want to say, men, I know there are a lot of damaged women out here. We can't deny that. I think one thing that I struggle with understanding is that we all came from that same trauma. So why is it that it's like the woman is being attacked, and trust me, I'm going to get on the other side too. It's like the women are being attacked as if you weren't in the household to see that she went through the same thing you did, as if you weren't in the neighborhood to see that she went through the same thing you did. So it's almost like, what has happened that men are not understanding why women are traumatized? We've went through it together. My next question is, where are the people who's going to step up and say, you know what, listen, it's true. We both have issues. Black men, black women. We've been in this thing together. We both have issues. Who are going to be the people that stand up and say, all right, listen, we both have a fair argument. Where do we start this process? How can I hear you and you hear me without all this foolishness and bickering? And granted, that's not everybody. Some people, you are just going to literally have to just not try to help. And I know that sounds bad, but everybody doesn't want help. Some people are content with being unhealed and traumatized. You have to leave those ones where they are and just trust that at some point, maybe God will work on them. But I'm speaking about the individuals who can come together and say, okay, but there's a group of people, even if it's only 25%, there's a group of people who truly want to learn, who want to heal, who wants to hear both sides. Because we both have great arguments. Who are these people? Are they going to follow in the steps where people are speaking about certain things, but they're creating a platform where they're pinning people against each other? It's going to be controversial. There's no question about that, right? But it's almost like I have yet to see a platform where it's a safe place for both black men and black women to just be heard. But instead, they will allow each other to just attack each other and then promote that. It's an agenda. Black men, all women are not gold diggers. A lot are. Choose wisely. Black men, every man does not want a size 2. Stop pushing that narrative. In fact, many of you don't even want a size 2, but you're going with the masses. This is why leadership, when it comes down to mindset, is so important. Half of you guys don't even like a size 2 yourself. And let's be clear, my size 2 chicks, you're everything. I'm trying to make a point here. But every man does not want a size 2. Stop pushing that narrative that that's what all men want, even successful men. That's not true at all. Next, All women do not have 37 baby daddies. And if she happens to have 37 baby daddies, stop telling her that no man in the world would want her at all. Of course, there may be limits in certain. I get the point on what you're saying, but it's almost like you're saying at all, as if you know every single man in the world. I won't call any names, but I know somebody who I went to school with actually, and she had like 8 children, 8 different baby daddies, and she met a great guy. Seriously, they're still married to this day, and he raised those children like his own, and he's successful. So I get it. It may not be in your quote unquote top 1% or whatever the argument is over there, but it's almost like you're pushing it as no one in the world will accept her and her children. That's not true. Black men, just because a woman is strong, and I'm raising my hands up over here, no apologies at all, ever, doesn't make her masculine. Her strength is what's going to help pull you through when those seasons starts rotating and the world is heavy on your shoulders. Strength is a beautiful thing, but I do agree we must learn how to shelf it. That's a difference than you telling women to stop being strong. Don't tell your Black woman to stop being strong. The strength is what got your toxic mother, toxic or not, she brought you through. And she did the best that she could because your toxic daddy was not in the household. So stop blaming women about being single parents when obviously there's another half to why she is a single parent. So stop pushing the narrative about masculinity, and because truth of the matter is men and women have both masculinity as well as femininity. But I do agree with you 100% there. We have to learn how to shelf it and compartmentalize it. But I'm going to speak on that on the other side. Black men, every single woman is not out to marry you, divorce you a year later, and take all your money. See, another thing with that, here's a hard balance that I've heard women say that they're having, and I hear and get the man's side on this as well. Women, and I'm one of those women, I've struggled with this immensely in the past. It's almost like you want to prove to a man that you're not with him for his money, so you make it a point to, I guess, maybe not ask or just kind of prove to him that you have your own, if you will. But truly, the perspective of the mindset is just to prove to him that you don't want him for his money, but instead you care for him for the man that he is. But that's not proper with men. That's our way of thinking. So where's that balance? Right? I think the balance for some people is, it's nothing wrong with a strong woman. There's nothing wrong with a woman who's getting her own. I think it's the most wise thing to do as a woman. But at the same time, it's finding that balance and letting a man be a man, right? Or you're not using what you have against him, because you got some women who will do that as well. Like, oh, well, I got this, you don't have this. No, right? If anything, it should be more so less like, listen, right? You got it, cool, but I got you in those down seasons. I got you when you need me. You just holler at your girl. I got you, right? Versus trying to run everything with your finances or whatever you got going on. So there is a balance. But see, this is my point with the conversation. Each person have a side. Some women genuinely, I've done that, is trying to make a point because I'm trying to really show you, dude, like I'm really feeling you. I don't care about your money. Like, we can go sit on the park and have a date. We don't have to go to, a $200 meal restaurant. So you're trying to, or let me pay for the meal this time because I want to show you that it's not about you. I'm sorry, about your money. I really like you. But then the man is seeing it as you're trying to outdo him. But if we have this simple communication, a meeting of the minds, and a conversation, then we can understand it better. Men don't think like women, and we sure don't think like them. And that's why we're constantly attacking versus listening to understand. We can make so much progress if we just listen, but we're constantly fighting. Black men, here's a secret. Many, I won't never say all, many women will not have an issue with submitting. Now, I use that word interchangeably because I know everybody kind of like have their own definition of that. I'm not speaking about subservient. I'm not speaking about running. I'm not speaking about any of that. I'm speaking about, well, I won't even get into all that, but plug in your own definition of that word. But most women, in fact, most women want to kick off her heels. Most women want to let her shoulders down. I mean, we might get up and get in your way sometimes. They're just kind of natural, but you know, we'll catch it if you remind us, and we'll sit back down. Women, we really, believe it or not, even though we are the strength of the earth and we were taught to carry everything on our shoulders, and I mean everything, that wasn't proper. That wasn't proper. And this is why we're struggling now. And you know why it hurts so much when you have where it seems like black men is turning against you? Because it's almost like, dude, we carried you. We carried everything. And this is the thanks we get. So I get that side as well. But that was never the right way. This is why we are so bogged down and tired. This is why we're so full of trauma. This is why we're still in survival mode, because we were conditioned, and it's not our fault. That's the annoying part, because it's not our fault. But we're being attacked because of it. But even though it's not our faults, doesn't mean it's not our responsibility to heal, which means unlearning the things we were taught generations and generations and generations ago. Sitting with God for a whole season and allowing God to heal you and to teach you properly. Again, I stand planted and firm. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your strength. Please stop trying to meek yourself down. Well, I guess meek is okay thing, but stop trying to dummy yourself down because people are telling you that you're too strong. There's nothing wrong with the strength. The issue is we got to know how to shelf it in the proper times. We're pulling it out at the wrong times. That's the issue. I don't think most men have an issue with strength. In fact, all the men that I've known, I don't know every man in the world, but the strength is not the issue. The go-getter mindset is not the issue. The issue is we're pulling it out at the wrong time. We're using it improperly. Black men, in saying that, I don't know any woman in the world personally, who will take her hands up off of things and just be submissive or, whatever, if the foundation is not a safe place. Please stop asking women to submit to you or to just chill out or whatever if she doesn't trust you. Men speak so much about respect and trust, and I agree with them there. They must have that. But a woman must trust you. You can't ask me to submit and you're not coming home. You can't ask me to submit and 9 out of 10 times when you're supposed to do something that's very important for our livelihood is not getting done for whatever reason. If we came from trauma conditions you to protect yourself, right? So we've been protecting ourselves for so long. In order for us to feel vulnerable and to take our hands off, we got to trust you. It's the only way. If we don't trust you, we're going to go back into protecting ourselves mode. Ladies, this is why it's crucial to have you a single season. Because when you're coming for trauma and all you know is to protect yourself, when you have a single season, right, season of isolation, whatever you want to call it, and you allow God to heal you, and then God teaches you that he will protect you in any situation, then you'll realize you don't have to always protect yourself because God protects you. So even when that man falls short, and he will, he's human, it's God who's protecting you. This is why a single season is so important, because you learn in the single season, right? God heals you. God peels you back like onions, layers of onions. He exposed to you that the things you were taught are the things you were conditioned to. It wasn't the proper way, but it's okay. It's not your fault. So that's not why I'm condemning you for it, but I'm teaching you. But when you're constantly fighting against me, I can't get nothing to you. And this is why you're sitting in that single season as long as you are, because I can't release to you the man I have to you if you refuse to heal. If you can't submit to me, meaning God, if you can't submit to me in a single season, why would you submit to a husband? And again, I can feel some of y'all tension up with the word submission. Again, please understand that word is not the same for everyone. But it ain't happening, sir. I'm just going to be honest. It's not happening if there's not a safe foundation. And that doesn't mean you're perfect now. That just means she can trust you. Your word is your word. You're not cheating on her every other month, right? She feels safe with you. You got her. You got the family. Naturally, her shoulders will fall back. It's just natural. Myself personally, when I'm around men who are not, I use the word heal, and just speaking in general now, not just my personal life, just in general, when I'm in a room with men who are just like, whatever they got going on, and then I'm in a room with the men who have healed, they know God, a relationship with God, they fear God. I'm not speaking about religion, but they fear God, and these are truly men who are submitted to God, not perfect, but submitted to God, and they know how to move and operate with order. There's a completely different posture. If I'm in a room full of toxic, unhealed, whatever, right, just haven't made a decision to heal yet, I'm automatically jumping up. I'm automatically going ahead of them, because it's almost like, well, I don't think you can protect me, so let me try to go, But on the flip side, in the other rooms, you would have to come get me off the couch and say, get up. It's different. Is one group better than the other? No, not so much better. Just that one made a conscious decision to heal, or most importantly, follow God and fear God, versus some who just haven't grasped it yet. Maybe one day they will. Who knows? So this argument back and forth about what other races do and other races submit and can I share a secret with you? Right? Because I'm in the room with both sides. And I'm not saying at all that there aren't very successful black men, because there are a lot. But when you speak about these other races, etc., these men provide properly. That household is stable properly. It's rare you're going to have 50,000 kids outside the marriage. Not saying that it doesn't happen. It does. But regardless of what they're doing, they may have a job that requires them to be out of town 6-7 months, but that household is stable. So please stop comparing us. to other races when it comes down to this race submit, this race that, well, because their lifestyle is different, respectfully. Most of their men were taught to be husbands, respectfully. So the argument about women weren't taught to be wives, most times not. But on the flip side, so you see my point? We both have sides that we can argue. But it's being done improperly. You guys going to hear a pause. I'm going to start the recording. All right. Thank you, guys. My Black woman. There's no doubt we've been through hell and back. Absolutely hell and back. Not all. Pick your head up. Lift your crown up. Because they have been attacking you. They've been attacking us for months, years. Wherever this thing came from, right? Well, I know, but in all that fighting and argument that you're saying, I don't care, and you can go this other side, and all that's a facade. It hurts. But it will take vulnerability to admit that. But because you're still in survivor mode and protective mode, you're saying it don't hurt. But it hurts. That's why it's still penetrating your mind. Certain comments that you've read, certain things that you heard. You say you don't believe it, but you believe it. They're not wrong all the way across the board. We're not supposed to be carrying the world on our shoulders. Many of us, some were not raised to be wives. Speaking of that, I want to backtrack really quickly. Guys, please, men, please hear me and hear me well. I don't know where the misconception is that all women wants to be married. All women end game is to be married. That's absolutely not true. That's not the end game for some women. Your purpose is what fulfills you. So if God haven't tapped you yet and say, okay, this is the season where I'm going to call you to be married, do your purpose. The same thing I think men should be doing, right? Because once you get into your purpose, then God will bring, if that's ordained for your life, God will bring who you need. But please stop running around here, men saying that, oh, well, you ain't going to be married, you're going to be such and such with 55 cats. Listen, if she wants 55 cats and she have a peace of mind, because I don't even like cats, and I'll take 55 cats over a peace of mind any day. So start with that narrative. Of course, we know that's not all. I mean, most women probably do have a desire to be married, but please understand, it's not all. Ladies, you may have made some mistakes in past relationships, right? We all make mistakes. You may have came out your face. You may have emasculated. You may have this and done this and done this and done this. But you got to forgive yourself. First and foremost, forgive yourself because you only did what you were taught. So if you've ruined relationships in the past, forgive yourself. Even if it was somebody who you really love and it didn't work out, forgive yourself, free yourself from that. Because that is when you get to a posture when you're vulnerable enough, this is when God will come in and really work with you. But you got to be honest with yourself and stop being so in survivor mode and this, oh, I don't care. You do care. You do care. You're human. So understand, ladies, that you are everything. Understand, ladies, that your strength is everything. As I always tell you guys, never, ever, ever, ever deny your strength. But it's true. It's true. We have to mask it. I'm sorry, not mask it. We have to shelf it. We have to shelf it. We're not supposed to be running around here all day long with the entire world on our shoulders. We're not built for it, but we're built for it, if it makes sense. It's not that we can't do it. We can do it, but at what cost? We deserve to feel light and free. But here's the key, ladies. You will keep attracting the type of men you are attracting, the ones you don't feel safe with, the ones you can't trust, the one that always cheats. Disclaimer, all men do not cheat. Most, I'm sure. But all men do not cheat. But you will not be able to attract the type of men that will allow you to feel so safe in his presence, because his word is his word. He trusts, he honors, and he respects you until you heal. It is absolutely impossible. You can meet him, but it's not going to stick. Your job is first to recognize, again, the fact that you were taught and exposed to some things that was never the right way. Your job is then to submit to God for isolation season. Sorry, guys, my phone. For isolation season or single season. Allow God to really work on you, to really heal you. So once you come up out of that season, you will start to meet a certain caliber of men. I'm not even speaking about money. I'm speaking about healed, whole men. The men you say that you want. Some of you guys are stuck on that 1% of a high earner. I'm not speaking about high earners. I'm speaking about high value, because it's a completely different. High earner just means you make a lot of money, but you can have no value at all. They're just as toxic as the other group who just refuse to heal. They're just toxic and rich, and that money ain't even going to last because they don't have the standards and the morals to keep it. But when I'm speaking about high value, that doesn't mean he's a millionaire. That just means like he's a traditional, he got his stuff together. He's not going to let you play with him all kind of way. He's not going to let you come out your face all kind of way. It's just not going to happen. But most times when you're around this group, you don't even have a desire to do that. It's almost like you feel like a little girl again. So it's not that women want to be a certain way. It's just that it's the people that you're putting yourself around that's into your life. When you sit in the single, when you sit in a single season, so God can heal you, you will not even allow a certain type of individuals in your space. They won't even be in your space. So you have to take accountability. Speaking of accountability, right? You hear both sides always say that. And I agree so much with this. It's almost like someone can say something like, well, all men cheat, right? Just for example, all men cheat. And then you'll hear a guy come back and say, well, all women do it too. It's true. Both sides have an argument. Men and women cheat. But the accountability is you have to take accountability for self. That's where a lot of the arguments are. Okay, well, you have a point, sir. But right now we're speaking about men. The accountability that you as a man cheat. Not because what you're doing is you're just shuffling things around. Because you're not standing in the accountability that, yes, as a man, I cheat. So let me address this versus deflect it. Let me address it, stand in my truth, and have a conversation about why am I not disciplined enough to cheat. Then when I have that conversation and we have a meeting of the minds and I can address that properly and we both come to the conclusion of whatever, then we can say, but it's almost like they're just shuffling things around. We can never get anywhere like that. You have to take accountability. I do it all the time. God gave me a mouth to speak and to pour into people, and sometimes they mix in places they ain't supposed to be. But I will always take accountability. I always apologize. And I try to do better the next time. I'm not going to say, well, yeah, my mouth is, but you did it. No, I got to eat that. I got to take whatever my issue is so I can continue to work on that. That's how you work on things, when you can claim it. But when you're in denial about something, you can never work on it. Nobody's perfect. None of us have it all together. We all have our stuff. We all have our vices. But we're the people who are going to stand up in leadership to say, you know what? Some things have to change. But let's create a safe, respectful place for men and women to have these conversations where people aren't cutting each other off, right? It's almost like you need to have a sign up to raise your hand in order to speak, so you can hear what the other people are saying. So Black women, Black men, I love you both. In fact, I love everybody. Everybody knows that, but speaking right now to Black men and Black women, you are everything. We all been through the struggle together. Again, I know, but this agenda that has been created for us to attack and hate each other, it is not proper. It is absolutely not proper. Now, again, some people have made their mind up, and they just want to take their passports and go do you. Seriously, go do you. Right? That may be something that you need, but you'll find your way back. You'll find your way back. And if you don't, that's fine as well. Truly, it really is. I want to encourage my Black women to do the same. Get your passport, sis. Stop waiting around. But the truth of the matter is, no matter where you go, you're still going to have to work on self first. But stop sitting around and looking at these statistics about the number of men that we have available. Go get your passport, sis. Go do you as well. That's not the issue. Let people do what they want to do. If you want to go here, if you want to date outside your race, if you want to do all of that, that's not the issue. The issue is the agenda that has been created for Black women and Black men to literally be against each other and to separate our race to the point that we are hating each other. That is not proper, and that is not of God. You guys have a great one. It's your girl.